They're doing even more shows, by the way. They've announced, like, they're gonna have, like, 5 friggin' shows.
Yeah.
In the next year. I feel like, I mean, they're definitely stretching it very thin, it feels like. Like, they have the main show, the Discovery, they have the Picard for the extra nostalgia, they have the Strange New Worlds, they have the kids show, they have the comedy show. It's like, Jesus Christ.
There's nothing too stretched thin. There's just nothing there. They're just shitting out as much as they can.
Yeah, well, that's...
will sell subscriptions to...
Yeah.
Their
well, that's what I mean,
service.
is that that's what they're doing, is that they're just making as much as they can just for money's sake and without any, like, regard for what would be good or not.
I'm not sure Alex Kurtzman even believes in the concept of good when it comes to shows. It seems like they think they just have to follow a formula and shit something out that's based on the formula. And if anyone hates it, it's because they're a toxic fan. And whether it's financially successful or not is just based on whether Star Trek is a viable franchise or not.
I hope the entire endeavor just crashes and burns, but the problem is, even if it does, and they wait another, like, 10 years to do, like, another, you know, reboot or whatever, part of that reboot is gonna involve the current Star Trek stuff. Like, even if they go all the way back and reference, you know, the original Star Treks and such, any reboot that they do 10, 15 years from now is still gonna involve, like, Discovery and Picard and stuff. Like, they're gonna have to.
I hope CBS sells Star Trek to somebody completely different, and if whoever gets put in charge of it at the new place, if they actually like old Star Trek, they're just going to ignore the new stuff.
Mm. Well, they could just make something new as well. We got
yeah.
You know, the Orville is good. We got Galaxy Quest TV series coming up at some point. That could be good, or it could be really terrible.
The Orville exists because they're making shitty Star Trek and they refused to let Seth MacFarlane do something with it. Can you imagine how stupid they must be to not let Seth MacFarlane do Star Trek? And they're like, no, we're going to have Alex Kurtzman do it.
Well, they thought that Seth MacFarlane was only going to do a comedy. I mean, that's how he sold the show. He sold the show as a Star Trek parody, like a spoof. And that's why, like, the first few episodes are, like, more comedic in nature, because he, like, was kind of getting that in that.
That's how he tried to sell it to CBS. I think he probably...
No, that's not for CBS.
A real Star Trek show. But then, yeah, he had to sell the Orville as a comedy because... it's a new thing.
Well, that's what I mean, is that everybody thinks of Seth MacFarlane. And I think, honestly, I think rightfully so, because that's pretty much all he's done, but everybody thinks of Seth MacFarlane as, you know, a comedy guy. He makes comedy shows, and that's what he does. And Seth MacFarlane might have said to CBS, you know, hey, I want to make Star Trek, and I want to make it, you know, a good Star Trek. It's not going to be a comedy, and they're looking at him thinking, but aren't you a comedy guy? You know, we don't know if you're going to be good at drama.
That just supports my point that they're dumb.
I mean, but this is the exact same thing that
Fox
did.
has made so much money for Fox. It's ridiculous.
It's the same thing that Fox did, though, I'm sure. That's why he had to sell it as a comedy.
Fox is dumb, too. That's why, yeah, that is why he had to tell them that this is going to be a comedy.
To be fair, I don't know how many non-comedy things Seth MacFarlane has actually done. I don't really know about any except for, you know, except for the Orville. But I haven't really, like, followed his career.
I don't think it really matters. Like, if someone is a good creative, I don't think it really matters if they're supposedly only in a particular genre.
I don't know. I think it can matter a little bit. I think the experience that you have in a genre can matter.
Yeah, but that's how you end up with Alex Kurtzman's.
Because, like, I don't know. I don't see Ridley Scott making, like, comedic movies. I don't know if he would be good at that or not. But
well, based on his most recent movies, I wouldn't say yes. But if he had a good track record with the type of movies he usually makes, and he was like, I want to make a comedy, I think it would probably be smart to listen to him.
Maybe. I think Ridley Scott has enough clout that if he decided one day that he wanted to make a comedy, he would be able to do so. They'd be like, okay, try it.
It's kind of strange that Seth MacFarlane doesn't have that amount of clout. He's probably made more money than Ridley Scott has.
What did he make?
Family Guy.
Family Guy, American Dad.
Right?
Yeah. And he made a couple movies, too, that actually probably didn't do that well in the theaters, but
I wonder
still.
if that industry looks down on cartoonists.
Oh,
like
they
cartoon shows.
They absolutely do.
The film industry does not like animation at all. In any award shows, animation tends to be nominated but never win because it's just kid stuff to them.
I think all the horses are done.
Alright, it is, in fact, almost time to skip the night again. Almost 7 o'clock. Which I'm going to do shortly. I am harvesting I have someone harvesting the oat fields, but, you know, they can finish that up tomorrow. Alright, it's 7 o'clock. Boop. Sleep. Sleep! I am still surprised that you haven't seen Blade Runner. Craig, you should definitely watch it. I mean, you might not like it. It's possible that you might not like it, but if you do, you know, if you do, definitely watch the second one too.
I don't watch a lot of movies.
I don't either, but you know, every once in a while.
I usually don't watch older movies either, even when I do watch a movie. Although, how shitty Hollywood has become.
Where are you guys going?
What do you mean?
You're going away from the horse paddock. It's time for
I'm
horses.
just on a black screen right now.
Oh, okay. Where are you on a black screen?
I had to jump out of the truck.
Whenever you skip time and someone's in a vehicle, the game doesn't like it.
Oh. I didn't realize. I don't watch movies a lot either, but when there's a movie that interests me, I'll watch it. I'll kind of make time for it. I recently watched the new Gundam movie that came out a month or two ago. That was pretty good, although it had you can definitely tell it's like part one of, I think it's three parts, because the ending was very like the movie definitely felt very like okay, this is like the setup. Like it felt like episode 1 of a TV show, you know, where like they set up everything but nothing really happens necessarily.
Yeah.
It really felt like that. But it was good. It was entertaining, but it's, you know, I need to see at least part 2 soon. And unfortunately, I don't think part 2 is coming out for at least several months, if not longer.
I actually kind of don't even like movies as a format.
No? Why not?
I like long form storytelling. I like that movies can be higher production value, but it doesn't really make up for the shorter story form to me. That doesn't mean I won't watch them. I just prefer longer stuff.
Well, I'm still gonna recommend you watch Blade Runner until you do.
Yeah.
So there.
Put it on my list. I don't even really watch stuff at all recently.
Yeah, I watch mostly just like YouTube stuff anymore. I am watching through. Yeah.
I watch like 95% YouTube criticism of the shit that they're putting out right now.
I don't.
Like 5% actual stuff.
I don't watch that. I will watch YouTube criticisms of things that I have already seen. But
Yeah.
if it's something that I don't care about, you know, I'm not gonna watch it anyway, then I don't really give that much of a shit. I'll watch like Red Letter Media reviews. Those are always entertaining, but otherwise I'm not gonna like search out reviews about stuff that I think is gonna be shit, because honestly I don't care.
I don't really search out reviews, but there are just YouTubers that I watch that make fun of what they're doing, and that's reasonably entertaining. It's more entertaining than it would be to watch what they're making fun of.
Mm. But like I don't even watch. I used to watch more shows than I do now. Nowadays I don't really watch shows. I've been recently watching through one of the older Gundam series just because it was something that I had been wanting to see, and I keep on forgetting about it, and one day I just didn't forget about it and actually started watching it, and I've been enjoying it. But it kind of feels weird that I'm watching that instead of just like having a YouTube like Let's Play on in the background while I do something else.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gundam, it's weird to see images from the Olympics with literally a Gundam in the background. Because they've been doing some Olympic events around the Unicorn Gundam statue.
Yeah.
As it glares at the rock climber.
Yes. They did the triathlon
people
around it too.
continuously getting it wrong, calling it a transformer.
Yeah, everybody calls it a fucking transformer.
There's more out there than Transformers.
I mean, Gundam existed before Transformers, I think.
I think so.
When did the first Transformers come out in Japan? You know?
No, I don't know.
I mean, it's in. I assume it's in the 80s, but I don't know. But I mean, Gundam came out in 79.
Was Transformers even originally a Japanese thing?
I want to say Transformers was originally made in Japan, but it wasn't for Japan. I think it was animated in Japan, but it was for the US. And then it didn't get popular over there until a little bit later, like in the mid to late 80s. And then like they started doing like Japanese Transformer shows. But I might be wrong about that. But I want to say it's something weird like that.
I know of one person who's really into Transformers lore. And the fandom in general.
He's into the fandom. Kyle, what are you doing? Come ride horses. We got work. We got work to do, Kyle. We got horses to ride. Oops. It doesn't feel like work. It feels a little bit tedious to just have to like ride a horse, but you know, this is how we get money. Work is work. Work ain't supposed to be fun.
Your capitalism is showing.
We have to do this. We're horse boys.
I didn't know. I mean, it's not surprising, but I didn't know that Transformers had a lot of like deep lore.
It gets really weird, but what doesn't?
Yeah.
I liked Beast Wars more than anything when I was a kid.
I feel like Beast Wars is the only one that I remember that like had actual like lore. As far as I know, the original series they just made shit up as they went along and they didn't really care. But I recall that Beast Wars had some lore. I don't remember what it is. I know that the Optimus Primal in Beast Wars isn't Optimus Prime.
No.
So Optimus Prime outranks Optimus Primal.
I guess. They're all like asleep. All of like the original Transformers, they're all like asleep in their big ship in prehistoric times. And I don't remember where the beast machines like come from. But they were basically there to like protect the sleeping Prime and yeah, and like everybody else who was like there on the ship essentially sleeping for millions of years.
And they have to disguise themselves as dinosaurs so the other dinosaurs don't realize that they're aliens.
Yeah, apparently so. I don't know what the setup for the show is. I don't remember. It's been too long. I don't remember why they have to be animals.
Like protocol, so that they can blend in.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if it was just protocol, even though it makes no sense because there's no sentient life to disguise
That might be
themselves
it.
from.
I mean, that might be it. I know that some of the animals that they turn into aren't even, like, real. Like, there was, like a griffin, I think, at one point.
Well, there was a reason for that. I think,
And that reason would be?
I think the reason is that their like scanner thing was faulty, so it kind of filled in the gaps with incomplete scans.
That sounds like Jurassic Park. Using frog DNA to fill in the gaps.
What?
You're obstructing the roadway, and you just trampled my head. Kyle just caused a workman's comp claim on your farm, Merg.
Funny how the workman's comp claims always seem to involve you.
Well, I got trampled on my head. I have a concussion. What do you expect me to do?
Why is it whenever there's a workman's comp issue, it's you?
That just says to me that you should be less reticent to file claims if you need to. This is a dangerous job.
Who else needs it?
Your inner
Blackbeard.
capitalism is showing. Last joke.
Nope, it's me casting questions.
Aspersions. Workman's compensation is a benefit that the union negotiated for us all.
I thought you weren't a part of the union.
No, I'm definitely part of the union. It's a
You always
benefit that
tend
they negotiated for us all, and we should take maximum advantage of it.
I feel like you cast
It's
a
our
lot of
right as
conflicting
workers.
statements.
If you're gonna accuse me of saying I wasn't part of the union, then you're gonna need to back that up with some facts.
Any of Merg's streams in which we bring up union in any context.
I'm the one who's always against scabs, so obviously I'm part of the union.
But you have also scabbed yourself. Hence my saying you put out a lot of conflicting statements and actions.
When have I ever scabbed?
When we were dwarves in space.
That
Lost
is
Joke
again
was the one
an
who was scabbing.
instance where I was accusing people of scabbing, not scabbing myself.
No, you were scabbing.
I thought Lost
I
Joke
don't
said.
think so.
I thought Lost Joke was scabbing. In that,
No.
it's been too long.
I'm just saying, you're crying wolf.
There's something called confession through projection.
Oh yeah, and explain what that is.
That's what you're doing.
That doesn't explain it.
You're projecting this crying wolf thing onto me when it's in fact you who is crying wolf right now.
No, because I don't accuse anyone for scabbing remotely. It's you. It's always you claiming
you're
scabbing.
accusing me of crying wolf.
I'm stating that you say it so often without any factual evidence that I don't think your word has much weight anymore.
I'm going to report this incident to the union. I feel
You're-
like this is creating a hostile workplace.
Who is the union boss currently? Who's the current union boss?
Roach.
Is it Roach? Roach the horse?
Yeah.
Xerxes
Me, I voted
and
for
Strawberry
Blackbeard.
still needs to be taken out. Strawberry's the light with white hair. I'll let one of you guys do Xerxes as well. As soon as I'm done with Blackbeard, I'm gonna go take care of some farming business.
I think I'm on Ranger. Well, we're talking about our union. One person is conspicuously absent from the entire thing of our horse business.
Did I or did I not say that I'm working a contract?
Who told you to take that contract?
The fact that we need money.
Well, we have 54k. We're gonna get like 400k
Yeah, we have
as soon as these horses are done.
54k after I did a contract. I'm getting us more money.
Which of your supervisors approved that contract?
Not you, because you're not a supervisor, so sniff my butt.
I didn't say I was.
So what is it? So I don't have to answer you.
I'm the supervisor, though. I'm literally the boss of the farm. To be fair, Lost Joke did say he's doing contract work, and I said okay. So...
Well, I have nothing to say then.
Ranger's done, by the way. Go take, is it Xerxes? Yeah, go take Xerxes out. I'm gonna go do some farm business.
That's Roach. That's Mr. Ed. That's Roach again.
Straight there. No. can't go straight there. Too many hills.
Xerxes.
Finances for cover 5 days.
What?
Our finances cover 5 days. There's no like history.
Mm.
So we only keep track of our money for 5 days, and then we just throw it out.
It's fine.
None of us is an accountant. We're horse boys.
We don't need to pay taxes, so it doesn't matter. We're living on in the desert in Nevada because we're tax evaders, in fact.
I don't think that's how that works. Because we're
No?
like a stone's throw from a government facility.
Yeah, it's a secret government facility, though. They're not going to have tax people there.
Yeah, they're not gonna talk to the IRS about us. We do have someone surveilling us, though.
True. Still haven't seen him, but I see where he sits.
If he fits, he sits.
They just drove up onto it. Whoops. God damn it. Terrible at driving today. All right. I think just leaving the speed on 30 is pretty good because it gives us like enough time to do the horses and then also maybe do some farm stuff, and then by the time like we're done with all of that, it's going to be time to skip the day again, skip the night. Pretty good. Pretty good. We're gonna need more hay pretty soon. Soonish. We're gonna need more straw certainly pretty soon. But I mean, we have so much straw, it's ridiculous.
Kyle's horse is going to be extremely low quality.
Why? Why is
Because
that?
Because of something that actual gameplay contradicts entirely.
Okay.
But he's just walking it around very slowly. It's going to be a lazy ass horse.
Once again, this worker was doing something weird. He left like one tiny little bit of wheat here, or oats, and he was actually going to spend the next, like, 40 minutes just turning around and going to get it. Make me pay for it.
He was hired to do the whole field, so he's going to do the whole field no matter what.
Apparently so.
No matter how much it costs.
Whoops. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. No, I'm okay, I'm okay. I almost got fully stuck on this stupid tree. But I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay, Xerxes, you're done.
You're done. You're done, Xerxes.
You've had your 5 minutes of daily exercise, now get back in your prison.
Drive this guy over to the other field. Get out of the way.
Rename Ranger.
Alright. What are you renaming him to? You should be able to do it, I think.
Yeah, I can. There.
What did you rename him to?
Red hair.
Red hair? Hair as in H-E-R-R? Like red herring?
No.
Oh.
H-A-R-E.
Well, why?
Because you should not pursue Lubu.
I see.
Do you know why now?
I can make the association.
Did you know that Lubu's horse had a name?
No, but it makes sense now.
Where did you even hear about Lubu? Did you play those games?
I played, I don't want to say the first game. I did play the first game, but the first game was not what you think of when you think of Dynasty Warriors.
Just like a fighting game.
Yeah. I played Dynasty Warriors, like, once, but I wasn't, like, super into it, I think. I just didn't really... I couldn't get into, like, the theming of it. But, I mean, I also know the meme. It's a pretty popular meme. Do not pursue Lubu.
Yeah.
I liked Dynasty Warriors Gundam because I'm a Gundam fanboy, and so I was able to get into that one. Although, at this point, I would still rather play Gundam Breaker than Dynasty Warriors, because at least in Gundam Breaker you can, like, make your own design.
The story that Dynasty Warriors is based off is actually like China's Odyssey and Iliad.
Yeah. Based on Romance of the Three Kingdoms, right?
Yeah.
Which also has its own games, but is definitely not my thing. It's like a, one of those, like, grand strategy games.
Yeah.
I mean, they had those games for, like, the original, like, Nintendo, too, which is kind of mind-boggling to think about.
People literally worship one of the characters from that story in China. He's a god now.
Who? Who is it?
Guan Yu.
Oh. Why? What did he do? I don't know anything about it, really.
I'm not sure why him in particular. He didn't do, as far as I know, anything that was way out of the ordinary for the heroes involved, but he was one of Liu Bei's two sworn brothers.
Hmm.
Which is one of the kings, basically, of the Three Kingdoms. So he was pretty important.
Your face is pretty important.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff he did, but a lot of people involved in the story did a lot of stuff too. So I'm not sure exactly why he's like worshipped now.
It is time to skip the night. So if you're in a vehicle or whatever, get out.
Yeah, I'm ready. I guess it's mostly just because he was... I mean, there were a lot of really powerful warriors in the story, but apparently he's the best, I guess, because he's the god of war.
Hmm. Did we do it?
Try again.
Kind of like how Japan has Kenshin Uesugi, and he's kind of like a god of war.
Someone saying no? What's going on?
I'm saying yes.
Lost joke?
Last joke.
Lost joke AFK again? Without telling us? Lost joke! Lost joke! Stop AFKing without telling us! I don't even know where he is.
I wonder why it would like instantly say no, though, just because he's AFK.
It doesn't instantly say no, it's that it's not going through, which means he's not saying yes. Because everybody has to agree to it. I don't think that I can kick him. I don't think there's a way to kick him. Is there? I could. I could kick him. I'm not going to. Because as soon as he gets back, it's gonna, like, take 5 minutes to load his data or whatever. So I guess while he's AFK without telling us, I'll just speed up the time. As much as we can. I don't know nothing about No Three Kingdoms. Is Samurai Warriors based on their so Three Kingdoms is like there's some real people in that, right? Or is it not? Is it all fictional?
It's only a little fictionalized. All
right.
the people were real. The women weren't really fighting, obviously. And
Well, they could. I mean,
obviously there's no magic.
They did have women fighters in Asia. It just wasn't a lot.
They were also, the characters were also like nobles, though, so they wouldn't have fought. It would be very unlikely.
What about Samurai Warriors? Because the Samurai Warriors has like real people in it too, right? Or it's all like fictionalized?
Yeah. No, Samurai Warriors is real too. It's the Sengoku period. Fictionalized to pretty much the same degree.
Yeah, I mean they didn't. They did have female warriors, though. I was just reading up about it the other day in Japan.
Were they actual samurai?
Called Onamusha. Technically samurai is a very samurai is a very specific term. Samurai doesn't just mean any warrior. It's like you have to be it's part like of nobility. Yeah. They helped the samurai though. They fought alongside the samurai. sometimes, but it wasn't like an always thing. But like, it wasn't that rare.
No.
What are you doing?
Sorry about that. I had an emergency.
Oh, what happened?
My cat brought in a mouse.
Oh,
Oh.
It wasn't dead.
oh.
So you've got a new pet.
No.
So your cat is being fed then?
No, we won't let her eat wildlife. Where am I?
Well, we're already at like 2 o'clock in the morning almost, so I'm just gonna let the time continue going until it's light out, and then I'll slow it down again. We were trying to skip the night, but we couldn't.
Yeah. When I'm in Arizona, my cats have free access to the porch, which is screened in. So they're kind of outside, but not really. And there's a door that's always locked and shut out to the outside, but there's a space underneath that a really small animal could get in. And apparently a little lizard tried to get into the porch because one of my cats brought a dead little lizard into my room.
Yeah, my
Well-
cat's brought in lizards before.
Got to do something about this.
Unknowing that her claws are so sharp that she just kind of like punctures them and then they die slowly and probably in a lot of pain.
Lost joke. When you get back to the farm, will you grab the forklift and help Kyle, with his problem?
Where?
It's at the big rock next to the field.
Jesus, asshole. Alright, go on, go, Mr. I have the right of way, despite there being a large tractor in the road.
I inspected that lizard that my cat brought, and it didn't have eyeballs, so I think she ate its eyes.
Mmm, tasty eyeballs. It is also horse time at any point. If people would like to start riding horses again.
Alright.
I will be there momentarily. Lost Oak, if your contract is up after...
It's not, it would have been finished.
Last joke, did you play Dynasty Warriors?
No.
Do you know anything about the Three Kingdoms?
Nope.
You know anything about the Sengoku period of Japan?
AKA Sengoku Jidai.
Is that a no?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Have you ever heard the name Oda Nobunaga?
Well, yeah, I played Onimusha.
Well, then you know probably at least a little bit about the Sengoku Jidai.
No.
You just displayed at least some level of knowledge of
I know the name Nobunobu. That's it.
Obu Nobunobu. Nobunobu.
He's not a character from Double Dragon, Lost Oak. He's not a Bobo.
He's also not an over-sexualized primate. Well, actually, he probably was. Probably was technically exactly that.
He's in a lot of games, isn't he? Nobunaga.
Yeah.
That was another,
He's probably Japan's #1 most famous historical figure.
that was another, strategy management game that was on, like, the old, like, Nintendos and Game Boys was, Nobunaga's Ambition.
Yeah. They're still making that too.
Yeah.
What was the point, though? Why are you asking me this?
We're just talking about these games and the stories they came from.
Which games?
Dynasty Warriors, Nobunaga's Ambition, Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Samurai Warriors.
Oh, I know none of these things.
Well, what other characters are in Onimusha?
Depends, because it's not the same character.
Jean Reno is in one of the Onimusha games. He's in 3, I think.
Yeah, it's an Onimusha.
Kyle, what are
3.
you doing? No, don't drive on the field, Kyle! You just destroyed part of the crops. Go ride horses, Kyle. Go ride horses. We need horses to be ridden. I'm also gonna go ride horses. I'm just emptying out this thing so this guy can continue harvesting.
Well, what other characters were in the Onimusha with Oda Nobunaga?
Like nobody really. I don't think. I don't really.
No one of historical significance. They were just drawing on that because everybody in Japan knows Nobunaga.
Those stories are really interesting if you actually get into them.
Well, I have an interest in feudal Japan history.
Why not?
It doesn't interest me.
Are you interested in European feudal history?
Not really.
Lost Oak doesn't go in for silly things like history of mankind.
Are there other areas of history that are interesting to you?
My own history.
You know, if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it.
And
Do you
I
mean-
haven't repeated history.
Lost Oak, do you mean your own history as in your own personal history, or the history of your family?
The history of my people,
Hmm.
What are your people?
the Native Americans.
Well, I didn't even know that about you.
I don't talk about myself.
No, apparently.
I don't really talk that much about myself, to be honest. I talk about my interests and like nothing else.
What is a man?
So
What
are
is a
you
man?
interested in North American history?
North American history, if I'm perfectly honest, is very inconsistent depending on where you are in the northern U.S.
What do you
What the
mean
hell?
by inconsistent? Like it's not well recorded?
Well, like I said, depending on where you are in the continental U.S., history is written differently or expressed in favor of specific people.
Yeah.
Apparently getting too close to the silo means I just tip over.
How are our horses doing? They're at 74%, so I think they still need like another couple days after this to be full.
I mean like pre-colonization history.
That gets more difficult because the colonists spent a great deal erasing that history.
We got 2 boxes of eggs now.
What the hell? Okay, you can just fall off the fork. That's cool. Had the fork raised, lifted. I don't know what's going on. The game is conspiring that I do not get to deliver this last pallet smoothly.
Well, the history of my people is pretty boring.
The
And
history
what's
of my
that?
people is probably pretty interesting, going back far enough. Oops.
Finns.
I don't know anything about the Finnish.
God damn it.
There aren't many interesting things. Finland was ruled by Sweden for quite a long time. Basically, a kind of a colony. There was some cool stuff in World War II. Like there was this sniper that the Soviets dreaded.
The farmer?
The farmer? I don't think he was called the farmer.
No, he was a farmer.
No. Yeah. But he was just like out there in the snow and he was constantly sniping Russians and they could never find him.
He knew the area really well, and he also didn't use a scope.
Yeah. They could have seen the reflection off the lens. If he had used
He
a scope.
was the progenitor of the true no scope.
Yeah.
But did he do any 360s before his shots?
I think doing spins in the snow would give him away.
Yeah, he would be buried under the snow and Russians would be combing the woods looking for him and they'd pretty much step on him and not know he was there. So that's one cool part of Finnish history. Yeah. Slightly odd that they were actually co-belligerents with Germany in that war. Because the Soviets were assholes too.
Oh, I've been putting these pallets in the wrong place. Damn it.
Are you done, Blaze? Yes, you are.
Well, my history is, I have Norwegian and Irish blood in me. So, I've got Vikings and, I don't know, leprechauns?
There were Viking settlements in Ireland pretty commonly during the Viking Age.
You hacked too much time I'm in the goddamn Viking ages.
Where's that from?
Oh, what was it called? Kung Fury.
Oh, I still never... Oh wait,
It's
that was the new one, right? That was the new...
It's like
not
30
new, but-
minutes.
Yeah, I have seen that, I just don't remember it. I actually have the soundtrack to that on my playlist I listen to. I just don't remember that much about the movie.
The Viking time period was a really long time ago, though. How do you even know that about your history?
What do you mean?
Like, did you get DNA tests that said that, or?
I did,
Or was it-
actually. Recently.
So
mom talked me into doing
it's
one of
really
those
that
ancestor
far
things.
back that the Norwegian and the Irish mixed. It's not like a more recent.
No, it's... The Irish part is more recent.
Oh, okay.
It's Norwegian and I think a bit of Finnish on my mom's side, and Irish on my dad's side, I believe. Oops. And that's basically all I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
I could look
Finnish
up the
did
history
have-
of Norway, but
Yeah. The Finnish did have kind of an interesting paganism that was not the same as the other Scandinavians. The other Scandinavians are actually not even the same culture group as the Finns were. The the Danes and the Swedes and the Norwegians were all the same culture at first, and they were Germanic. But the Finns were from North Asia, basically. With a little mixing with the Baltic people.
I'm just gonna assume that one of my ancestors was Ragnar Lothbrok.
Yeah.
And that he invaded Northumbria at some point.
I wonder if he actually had descendants in Norway, though, because I think he died on the British Isles.
Well, the only thing I know about Ragnar Lothbrok is what I saw in the show Vikings, and he definitely had kids. One kid in particular, but...
But were they all in England with him, or were they back in Norway?
In the show, and I cannot account for the veracity of the show. It's pretty
Yeah.
fictionalized, I think, but in the show, he had, I think he had like 2 kids, but one of them died, and then his son grew up to also be, you know, like a full-on, you know, adventurous Viking. And and then he had a brother who became like king of France. Basically, Rollo.
We
Did
come
they
from
do-
France.
Did they do Blood Eagles in the show?
Yes, they do. They did at least once or twice.
Do you know what Lothbrok means?
No.
Leather pants.
Nice.
It's basically Lederhosen. If he was German, he would be called Ragnar Lederhosen.
Ragnar Lederhosen. But he's not. He's Norwegian. That means he's Lothbrok. It sounds much better.
Yeah.
I didn't finish watch. Oh wait, he had like other sons in the show, didn't he? Because that's kind of when I stopped watching, because at some point he leaves the show, and I just kind of lost interest after that, because he was kind of like the main star, and the other
The
characters
actor
weren't.
left the show.
Yes, and at
Lamp.
that point the
Hey, when that happens.
yeah. Like I like the other characters. It's just that they weren't quite enough. Plus, they were doing like weird things. They were like increasingly being kind of weird and doing like weird things. I think they were trying to be more Game of Thronesy,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. But I think he did have like other sons.
Well.
Did you watch Vikings, Kyle?
Out of curiosity, yeah.
I stopped watching. I watched like maybe 1 or 2 seasons with his other sons. The like, what was his name? Ivor. Was one of them.
Ivar Ragnarsson.
Yeah. And then I kind of stopped watching after that. So I never actually saw like the end of the show.
Like magic and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, like they had a bit of that in the start, but it was more contextualized as just stuff that they, as Vikings, like believed in. So it wasn't like they were saying magic is real. It was more like they were saying this is how the Vikings like saw the world. But then they started doing like more and more of it as time went on, and it just kind of lost me.
A good fantasy show, I guess.
Yeah. If that's what you were going in there expecting, which I wasn't. I mean, it was on the History Channel, for God's sake.
I mean, even the clothing is just like really far from what people would have actually worn.
Yeah.
Anachronistic.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like I didn't expect it. Like, I knew it was a fictionalized account. Like, I didn't expect it to be like a full-on 100%, you know, true historical thing, but it was definitely marketed as something more realistic in tone and in presentation. And
The thing is, once they've established a relative level of fantasy, if they fiddle with that level too much, then it kind of ruins it.
On the other hand, I really like the movie 13th Warrior. We're talking about Vikings. Have you ever seen that movie, Craig? Or anyone?
No.
Very much not historically accurate, but it was still pretty good. Everybody shits on it, and I don't know why, because it was actually a really good movie. Yeah.
Vikings were pretty fucking crazy. They were way more historically significant than they should have been relative to like their population or their importance in the world at that time. A bunch of them were basically the royal guard of the Byzantine emperor for hundreds of years.
That's not unusual, really. Because they were outside of the culture, so they didn't have any...
Yeah, they were selected for that reason, and that's not the only reason. I'm listing the reasons. There's that. One of the Vikings founded basically the precursor to Russia in Kiev.
And then there was Rollo, who was like, who married the princess and became king of France, basically.
And there's another guy who conquered Normandy, became sort of French. He became a Norman.
Well, I think that's Rollo. That's what I'm talking about.
No, it was a different guy, because he invaded, or maybe it's his son, but either the guy who conquered Normandy or his son then invaded England and became King of England.
I think that's him, actually.
That was William the Conqueror, though. Yeah. Did Rollo become William? That's possible.
I don't know. It might have been his son.
I'm not entirely sure.
I don't remember, man. I don't remember. Again, all my knowledge is based on the...
Yeah. And Vikings were raiding even in the Mediterranean. It was weird shit.
Yeah. Well,
they took their boats also through rivers through Eastern Europe to get to Constantinople. They would take them out of the river and carry their boat to another river.
Yeah. That's what they did. They didn't let us do that in Valheim.
Yeah.
The movie 13th Warrior. The setup is very it's very like Seven Samurai, sort of. You know, Seven Samurai is about like these warriors who get hired to protect a village from. It was bandits in Seven Samurai. It's something else in 13th Warrior, but it's that kind of show where it's like these warriors hear about this village having problems, and they decide to they're all like Viking warriors, and they decide to go and help out. And along the way, they pick up.
Sounds like very Viking. Is it a Viking village that they're?
No, they're not really Vikings. They're Norwegian. They're like Norwegian and Swedish. I think it's they're not technically Vikings, but they're they're descended from Vikings. They're practically Viking warriors, but it's like they're not. I don't think they're actually literally Vikings. But along the way, they pick up a Middle Eastern person who is actually played by a Spanish person. He's played by Antonio Banderas, but.
Yeah.
And so this Middle Eastern person is like he's almost like the audience surrogate. Like he's with this band of warriors, and he's not entirely sure like what's going on, and he kind of has to learn about them and about like what they do. And I don't know, it was a pretty good movie. I always liked that movie.
Yeah, not everybody from those countries was a Viking. You'd have to actually go raiding to be a Viking. In that time period,
I refer to them as Vikings, and I think it's
kind of their theme.
Yeah, it's sort of implied that they're like where I think one of them might actually have been like a prince or a king or something like that.
Huh.
I mean, it's a fictional story. It's not based on like it's not a historical fact. As far as I know, it's like very loosely based on something like Beowulf, even though there's like 13 of them. Very loosely. Very loosely. Craig, will you do Xerxes as well? Clean these horses.
Yeah.
Gotta do more farm stuff.
Xerxes is brown with dark brown hair. Are you Xerxes? Yes.
There we go. You're clean. You're clean. Giant nerd guy needs to be cleaned.